Aloha, where are we going today, honey?
We're going to the farm.
Where are we
and
going?
maybe to the beach.
What are we going to do at the farm?
I don't know, just look at it, I guess.
We're going to check on it, see if what's happening, and maybe go to the beach and check on it and see what's happening there. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, here we go.
Alrighty, let's go.
Alright, we're here at the farm.
Yes.
Tell us about your process that you had to go through to get the testing for the soil.
Oh, okay. So last week we dug up the soil, as you saw.
With the spoon, don't forget.
With the spoon, my special shovel. And yeah, so then we just kind of looked up on the website where the address was. It's at UH and
University of Hawaii.
At the University of Hawaii. And I had to look all over the place for where that was. Found the parking. It's super hard to park there. I don't know if you need all these details, but for anyone that wants to go, it's super hard to park there. But just give yourself some time to kind of find it. And then even in that building, I had to go all the way around to get to the office. But they were super helpful there. We're so new to this, so I had brought one of these old stems and root ball or whatever.
Yeah, tell us what it said about that thing.
Yeah, so one of the guys there, I forget his name. I want to say it's Vernon, but I don't remember. He said that if you're looking for plant disease, you need to check when the plant's still alive, because once it dies, just sort of the nature taking its process to bring it back into soil, it is going to have disease. It is going to have mold, and that's going to turn it back into soil. So that was good to know. So, and he was super nice, and both the people that I worked with there were super nice. So I just filled in the form, just name and address and stuff, and whatever test we wanted. We tried to get every single test. So at the UH one, we got S1, S9, and S10.
I think that's the one.
Which is basically it's just everything.
So it's going to be the mineral content.
Yeah.
It's going to be heavy metal content. It's going to be phosphorus and sulfur content, and then also one that's going to look at how much is clay, how much is sand, and all of that, just so everyone has an idea of what we're testing for.
So then, but yeah, that was pretty much it. We had there was 2 holidays, the election plus Veterans Day, so it made it a short week for them. And she said that it might take more than a couple of weeks to get the results back. So we'll just wait. And it seems at least by our conduct consulting, it was raining this morning. And when we look here now, it looks like it got a little more moisture this week. I don't know if it was today or what, but it's not muddy, but it seems a little more moist than last week. But I don't know, maybe it's psychological, because now when I do this, it doesn't seem that moist at all.
No, it does seem like it rained, but
it just seems like a retro.
Yeah. So we're thinking that there's nothing growing because there's been no water, and not that it's just completely crap soil. Because other people have stuff growing, but we'll find
these
out.
guys. If we go over there, you'll see that wherever it's watered, you can kind of see a section there where it's just a bunch of stuff that's growing.
Yeah.
Where they're watering. Where it's not being watered, there's nothing growing. So that to me is just oh, okay, we need to water this in order for stuff to grow, which is fine. That's the other part of the equation, right? You need sunlight, soil, water, seeds, all that stuff, and pests, all that, right? There's a whole equation to it. So, which sort of works to our favor right now, because I feel if we let's say, I'm guessing it's going to start to rain more here over the winter time. So the timing maybe is working out for us that we can plant whatever we want to plant. We've got our soil testing in the works, and then maybe in the next couple of weeks or stuff, so that the rain's going to start to come, and then we didn't have to work to weed this place out and take all that out. So which is cool.
Yeah, so we'll see. And now today we're gonna
pull up some of these
plastic.
What is this, irrigation?
Yeah, so it's
thingies?
Whatever was on here before.
Yeah.
They would just, apparently we heard from one of the neighbors that whoever had it before, they would just till up the plastic into the soil.
Yeah, it was just cheaper and easier for them rather than pull this up and use new. reuse it, they would just till it into the ground, which is like,
No.
okay.
Yeah,
Like,
well, it's terrifying, but
plastic into the ground, but okay,
We're
whatever.
gonna-
I mean, that's our like.
yep, that's our job to restore
our
it.
job, and like what we're trying to do is just like restore the land and everything a little bit healthier, or a lot healthier. So
Yeah. So today,
today we're gonna try and pick
All right.
up what we can, and I just picked this up and it was like really easy, and even this, right? It's just like super easy.
we'll just do a little bit. I mean, we're doing it by hand, so it's going to take some time, but we'll get started.
Yeah, I have no idea how long. It might take a few years to like get it all.
Yeah.
But
Slow and steady wins the race.
just do a little bit at a time.
All right, kids. That's the farm today. Picking up the plastic bits. All right, I had a sound malfunction. So, what Jeff is doing is we're going down, starting at this blue flag. We're going to go all the way down and pick up the plastic. So what happened is the people who had this land before, it's ag land, so they were previously farming on here. Rather than picking up the plastic irrigation system, they would just plow it into the ground because it was cheaper for them to plow it into the ground than it was to pick up that plastic. That obviously can't be very good for the soil, but that is our job here. We are restoring the land back to good, healthy land. And I have some video footage of me starting the process, but as most of you know, I still can't walk so good right now. I am very much so healing, and it's really lovely, crazy process, but I can only do so much. So I will share that footage of me here without any sound because we had a little sound issue. So this week, I am going to order the testing for glyphosate and other bad chemicals that we don't want in our soil and see what's already in there. And for the water as well. So I feel very blessed for Moms Across America. They are an organization that I have supported for many, many years. And they, on their website, actually had all the information I needed for the testing, and I have been trying to be one of those things where I'm open to receiving the information that I need to make our farm a healthy, wonderful, happy farm. And one of the things I wanted to do is soil testing and water testing for glyphosate and other chemicals and pesticides. So I found it, and so this week, I just found it on Thursday, so this week I'm going to order it, and then hopefully by next week when we come back and probably do some more picking up of the plastic out here, I'll be able to get the soil and water sample and then send it off, and then we'll know, what we're dealing with to start with. So this is the same process that I go through with people. So when I start working with people to help restore their gut flora, to get them out of chronic pain and all sorts of, all the different things that come with having a disruptive gut microbiome, we start with testing. I always say it's like testing the soil. Well, now I'm actually testing the soil. I'm very excited about it. So, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of the testing, not only for the mineral content and heavy metal content, but to see what sort of pesticides, herbicides, all of that fungicides. I think that they go through and test for all these different things to see what's in the soil and the water. So I'm interested to find that out.
Here's a corn on the cob that I was talking about earlier. I mean, that looks like corn on the cob to me. Like, it's so little. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe they brought it here just to like add mulch or something to the soil. I have no idea. Let's see. So I just found this. Maybe it's like some sort of peas that was growing here. I don't know.
All right, we made it, or he made it all the way back.
I think it took like about an hour for me by myself. I'm gonna stand up. I took about an hour me by myself to go all the way down. Like Lisa helped for maybe just this first, I don't know, how far you think?
I would say a quarter.
First quarter.
Yeah, I explained I had to go sit down because.
So then I went and finished, and then it took me about an hour. So this is what everything I got. Here's like a bunch of the plastic that you can see, and here's a bunch of plastic. There's actually some stones in this one too, but this is a weak plastic bag. So I got this bag, and I got a bunch of stones in here. So one of the things I was taught in my ag exposure class through UH was that if you find like stones and stuff, throw them to the edge of the property. And so I'm doing that. I collected them, whatever I could find, and we're gonna just put them by the edge here. So that's pretty much it. Oh, and then I found like a couple of maybe like they look like peas to me, like snap peas, I guess you would say, or I don't know what those are, kind of green peas. Again, I was born in Chicago, grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. I don't know.
You will learn.
I'm gonna learn. And what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Was there anything else I needed to talk about?
Oh, just
the eggplant.
Yeah, share about the eggplant because I think it got cut off during the sound.
So
malfunction.
we had a sound malfunction, and like I brought one of these like stems to the UH people when I dropped off the soil sample, and he thought it might be eggplant. He didn't think it was corn. He thought corn has like a different. Now I already forget what he said. This one is more fibrous, and corn is more woody, or I have it the other way around. But then along the way, like I said, I think I found some like snap pea, like old ones. So I'm not sure if that blew from somewhere else or if it's this or what, but we'll figure this out.
Yeah. So cool. So I forgot to bring bags. So this is what we get today.
Yeah, this is what I had.
We'll just keep you updated with how the plastic goes.
Yeah, here's all these stones that I grabbed.
And
so then I'm just going to
stones
put them
out of
over
the way.
here. And then we can like kind of build up the road a little bit.
Our fortress of rocks. There we go.
A couple pieces of plastic in there.
Oh, and I'll show you the beautiful view again. Do, 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 do,
Oh,
do.
some more plastic.
So lovely. All right, are we going to the beach now?
Let's go.
All right, we're going to the beach.
Alrighty, we are at Kayaka Bay Beach Park
And it's beautiful.
in beautiful Wailua, Hawaii, North Shore. I think it's Wailua still.
I think
It should be.
Yeah, and how far away is it from the farm?
This is like maybe definitely less than 10-minute drive. Maybe it's like 5 minutes. I don't know. It's super close.
Yeah.
And we just came here to cruise. It's really nice. So here, we'll show you around a little bit. We parked over there. Got a little bit of a bathroom over here. Look at that. Sun is going to set on that side. It's pretty windy today. It's hard to tell, but there's like a ton of waves over there. Let's see if I can zoom in. These are pretty big. Let's see if there's somebody. I thought I saw somebody out there.
Those look like, what,
Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, some of them are pretty big.
They're big.
It's hard to tell like without the scale of someone on a wave.
Yeah.
To see.
Some of those are pretty darn big.
The bananas fell.
Bananas. We lost the bananas. No, we do not have Diet
The bananas fell.
Coke. We do not have Diet Coke, people.
Okay.
It's just the box the bananas came in.
So we're just hanging out over here. It's pretty windy though.
It's windy and it feels kind of chilly. But yeah, those are out, especially pretty far out there. Those are pretty big waves.
Yeah, there's someone way out there.
I didn't see anybody. But you saw someone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so pretty. And it's like pretty chill. There's not like tons of people out here.
Yeah.
Every time we come, I mean, there's a few people, but normally there's not that many people. Except for there's always like a little party, which I think is cool.
Yeah, there's always like some sort of birthday party or something. Okay, so tell us about these racing pigeons that are behind you there. Or, yeah, so like I saw this flock of birds and they just took off. And let me zoom in on these guys.
These mess of a flock, is that what you're saying?
Well, no, that's what you're saying.
Oh, that's better. They're doing better now.
They're doing better? Okay, so tell us about a little bit about racing pigeons.
Well, I guess I grew up, my dad, I'm going to cry. My dad raced racing pigeons. He started racing pigeons when he was a little boy. I think he was like 9 or 10 when he got his first racing pigeons. And so I started racing pigeons when I must have been 7 or 8 when I got my first team. But anyways, so Jeff asked, what are all these birds doing? And I said, oh, that's a flock of racing pigeons that are all over the place. It's a really big flock, and a good team of racing pigeons is going to have a really tight flock, and they'll fly together really good in like really good formation, like you would think of, I don't know, like the Air Force or something like that. And these guys are all over the place, and it's kind of nutso. And he's like, how do you know that they're racing pigeons? And I'm like, well, you see they're sitting on all those wires over there. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, there's a loft down there somewhere. But there must be a pigeon loft over there. So when I was a little girl, I would go and train racing pigeons. And I had a young bird team for, I forget how long, how many years, 2 or 3 years, maybe. I think I stopped when I was about 12 because I wanted to dance, and it's too hard to dance and race racing pigeons. But so I would train the racing pigeons while my dad was at work, and we would always win because I would spend a lot of my time training the racing pigeons. And what I would do is, what's happening behind us is that there's someone down there like making a loud noise or cracking, and then the birds will all go up and fly around, and you're supposed to keep them going and going and going, but these birds are a bit of a mess here, and they keep landing. And then it looks like not too long ago somebody fed them, and they all landed and ate some food, and then they got back up and went back over to their loft.
So that's interrupting. So whoever is over here feeding them is kind of interrupting
they're supposed to be training.
The training that whoever's pigeons they are over here is trying to do.
And it's actually kind of funny, but I was a really big team, and I don't think we had that many birds at a time that we were trying to
so maybe
train.
they are racing pigeons, but maybe they're being trained not for, like you were mentioning, maybe they're not being raced. Like maybe they're like for
weddings or
releases.
other types of release events around here. But then Jeff just looked it up, and I had no idea. Apparently, in Hawaii, racing pigeons is a very popular sport. And
I don't know about popular, but according to that Facebook page,
there's racing pigeons in Hawaii. So I don't know how they would do that. I mean, I guess.
How far? What is a typical distance that a race will be?
Like the beginning would be, I don't even think they go very far, like 30 miles outside of town, and then you would go, like each race gets a little further, and then.
Like in a season.
Yeah, so you would start like maybe 30 miles, and correct me if I'm wrong, people, I don't know, and then like 100 miles, and then 150 miles. And
so
then
you would
like
drive
200 miles, and then all the way up to like 500 miles. So like one of the farthest ones would be, I think someone would, you would drive all the way, like, well, now you're getting into more details, but someone would drive all the way into Wyoming.
Wow.
And release the birds, and then they would fly back.
Someone meaning it's not all the team people would go. You would just trust that person would release them, and
right. So the night before the race, you would go to one of the members. This is how we did it in Lincoln, Nebraska. You would go to there's a club, like a racing pigeon club, and you would go to someone's house that has a big enough garage to accommodate the situation, and you countermark the birds. So you put their little foot in like a little hole thingy, and they put like a countermark over their band, or however you want to do it. And then they're packed in crates, and then they stay that night in like the garage or wherever. And then whenever you're going to go, however far it is, the person will load them up, and then they drive to wherever they're going to go, and then they release them all at the same time, at a set time. And then we didn't have cell phones and stuff back then, so it's not like you could just, I'm sure they called someone, but there was like a chain of they've been released or whatever on the phone or whatnot, from what I remember. So then you wait for the birds to come home, or they may have just agreed upon and they're going to release them at this time, and then
Okay.
anyway, so then you when they get home,
Yes.
like one of the keys is getting them to get inside of the loft as soon as possible, so they don't sit up on the wires like they're sitting up there. And so he's training them to sit on the wires and not come in. So how I would do it when I was like 10 or 11 years old is you keep them flying, you do not let them sit down whatsoever. And then when you're ready for them to come in, then you go in and you put the feet in the feeder and start doing the whistle to call them in, so that they'll come immediately and don't fiddle faddle on the wires.
So then once they come in, do you like track them that
Yes.
like, okay, so-and-so came in at such time?
Yes.
How do you do that?
So you probably saw my dad's pigeon clocks when you cleaned out his.
Oh,
They
okay.
were down there. You probably didn't know what you were looking at, but you have back then. I don't know how they do it now. There's like these big old pigeon clocks, is what they're called, basically. And so they come in through the door, and then when they're coming in from a race, you have to stop them at the door and remove the counter mark, and then put the counter mark inside of the clock and twist the clock.
Yeah.
So this is often where races were won or lost, how fast you can get your birds in, the counter marks off and into there. And my birds, because they're so trained, and like my birds were very tame because I would feed them, and when I fed them, I would put food on my legs and out of my hands, and so they were very used to me and very calm. So they would go, and I trained them to come in right when it's time to eat, so they don't fiddle up there.
Yeah.
So they would come in, and they were very calm. So it's very easy to take the counter mark off and put it in the thing, and then they go right in, and then they just wait, and they're not like having, crazy conniption fits. Whereas the other people, like, the birds are wild and out of control, and turns into a disaster.
So that's why you guys would always win.
Especially like my team would win, because I would do young birds and I would beat my dad too. So
I see.
Yeah.
How big of a flock do you race? Like how many? Is it 100 or like 10? Or?
I don't remember that.
Oh, okay.
I think you have to pay per bird.
Oh, okay.
So I know some people would, how many birds could you get in a crate? 10? So maybe some people would do like 20 birds, some people would do 50 birds.
Oh, I see.
I don't know.
How big is this flock?
I'm guessing that's like over 100 birds.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Really
like that's like
big.
a lot of birds.
And you might have that many in a loft, but I don't know if
You'd race all
those all at the same time, because there's different like seasons.
I see.
And like different young birds, old birds, long distance, short distance, like yearlings. There's different seasons, at least from what I remember. But
Cool.
This is like 30 years ago. So
Anything else that you want to say or add to?
thank you, Dad. No, it's just kind of cool to see them.
Yeah.
Like what they're doing. And actually, I wonder if the person who's training them realized that someone is over there feeding them.
Maybe not.
But it makes sense, like we're in a park, so having your loft off the side of a park where people are hanging out might inhibit
Your training.
your training, and then also regulating how much food they're eating.
Oh,
and
true.
they get like fat and lazy. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Alrighty.
Okay, cool.